Welcome back to In the Footsteps of the Maccabees. In our last video we spoke about Judah Maccabee's preparations on the eve of battle at Mitzpah. Meanwhile, Lysias came down to the land of Israel with a reinforced army. Although Lysias actually did not plan on leading his soldiers into battle himself, instead he delegated that task to a general named Gorgias. Gorgias came to the western border of Judea to a city named Emmaus, and he set up camp there at Emmaus. Emmaus was actually a mixed city with Greeks and Jews living in it, so perhaps the people of Emmaus were more supportive of the Seleucid army, and it was a good place for him to set up camp. And then he set out towards Jerusalem, towards Mitzpah actually, because he had heard that Judah Maccabee was preparing his camp there. While Gorgias was on his way to approach to confront Judah Maccabee and his army, Judah Maccabee heard about Gorgias' movements, and he actually abandoned Mitzpah. He came on a different route towards Emmaus, coming from the south, rather from the northern route that Gorgias was traveling on. And he found the base camp of Gorgias and soldiers there that were completely not prepared for battle. And he routed that enemy force, killing up to 3,000 soldiers. And the remainder of the survivors all fled towards the coast. When Gorgias returned to his camp and he saw that he had been defeated already by Judah Maccabee, he too fled from Judah Maccabee. And so it was that Judah Maccabee scored another important victory for the Jewish rebels. If you come to visit Emmaus today, as I have done, it's about 10 to 15 minutes south of Modi'in, not very far. You will discover if you visit here that it has become a very important Christian site. As I entered, you can see the entrance there to the site from the highway. I was greeted by a French-speaking nun who showed me around a little bit, although I didn't understand everything that she was saying. And you will see here this magnificent structure, but it's a basilica, which was built several centuries after the days of the Hashmonaim. But I also noticed here that there's some evidence of Jewish remains here. As I mentioned, based on the archaeological evidence, it's believed that Emmaus, even in the times of the Hashmonaim, was a mixed city. And you see here this sign telling me where to find ancient Jewish tombs nearby. So that's what Emmaus looks like today. The name of the site, Emmaus, helps us determine that this is indeed the correct place that is spoken about in Sefer Maccabees, because there was an Arab village here named Emmaus up until 1967, when this area was captured by Israel from Jordan and the Arab village was depopulated. You can see a little bit the inside of the basilica, which is built during the Byzantine period. As I mentioned, this is an important site for Christians and is still watched over and looked after by the nuns and monks who live in the Latrun monastery nearby. Apparently they speak all different languages and come from different parts of the world to spend time at this monastery. Behind me you can see more of the ancient remains at Emmaus. Roman era cisterns, olive presses, mosaics, that sort of thing. So definitely a lot of archaeology here at Emmaus.